Welcome to the channel, everybody. I'm Ren. This is a channel where I review all things movies, music, TV shows, apparently. I'm just trying it all out. Recently started reviewing The Last of Us. That one's doing pretty well. Figured I'd give it a shot at The Mandalorian. Episode 1 just aired today. Well, maybe yesterday, depending on when this is going to drop. Should be tonight. But this isn't going to be like a play-by-play or scene-by-scene. I'm not going to break it down like some other people already have. Just seems like some people like my opinion on things. This episode picks up basically right after the events of the Book of Boba Fett. And if you didn't watch that series, I wouldn't say you missed a whole lot of story. It was basically Mandalorian 2.5. If you're a big Boba Fett fan, then yeah, maybe you should. You probably already did see if you are a fan of Boba Fett. This show starts off pretty well, just giving you a baseline of what happened, what is happening, the state of the universe or the solar system that they're in, and what's happening within that small sector. It does a good job in letting you know that there are consequences for the things that happened last season in The Mandalorian, not so much the Book of Boba Fett. It does address Cara Dune's character. It does let you know that she has been assigned on another task, on a mission. So her character is in the universe still. It's not like they fired her and just put her character out the pasture. So Cara's still around. If Disney happens to want to bring her back, or Gina Carano wants to come back, I would love to have her back. I think the whole thing's ridiculous anyway. The show does a really good job at giving you a baseline of what's happening and what to look forward to in the next coming weeks, giving you a good setup for what's coming next, giving Mandalorian a new mission to go on, filling in characters like Carl Weathers' character, lets him know what's happening. Also, it brings you to a Mandalorian castle, which I think looks pretty awesome. The whole world looks good. It did this every other season where all the locations, the people, the cultures, everything looks great. I know a lot of people give this series, or Star Wars in general, a lot of grief for using screws. I mean, seriously? You think that spacefaring cultures across the galaxies wouldn't come up with a flat head or a Phillips head or an Allen key head or any other building block? And I really apologize if you guys can hear my nasal sounds. No, that's my bad. But come on, you think that other cultures in space are going to go throughout their entire cultures, traveling through space, never figure out how to make a brick? Anyway, as far as Grogu goes, he's as adorable as ever. His personality is on full display in this episode right off the bat. He's much more out of his own shell. I don't know if maybe spending time with Luke, training those last 2 years, and Dave Filoni and company has said that he did spend about 2, maybe a few more years training with Luke. So he is a lot more powerful at the beginning of this season than he was the end of the last, or at the very least when Mandalorian got him back. He's more powerful then than he was when Mandalorian left him with Luke. And I gotta say, Pedro Pascal going from Mandalorian to The Last of Us and back to The Mandalorian, he has not skipped a beat. He still gives off just as much emotion and character vibes, I guess you would call it, with just, a slight tilt of the helmet, the way it moves, the way it sits on his head, the way his shoulders are positioned. You still can basically tell everything that he's thinking, even if he has the helmet on. But anyway, back to the episode. Mandalorian is trying to go to the waters under Mandalore to cleanse himself of his transgressions, and he needs a droid that will basically traverse the caverns of mines itself. So the droid that is actually the one that destroyed itself last season. So he needs a part. His mission now is to find that part. The show didn't do a whole lot. It did the simple little lifting that it needed to do in order to get the season off the ground. It's the first episode. It didn't need to do a whole lot. It just needed to reacclimate all of us to the show. It needed to fill in some of the characters of some of the progression and what's happening, and it did that just fine. So I hope that this show didn't disappoint anybody. I mean, it had some action. It had some consequences from some things that happened last season in Boba Fett. So I think it did a fine job. I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10. Probably a 7. Because like I said, it didn't do a whole lot more than what it needed to do. Because really all it needed to do was satisfy everybody's Baby Yoda hunger, I guess you'd call it. So let me know what you thought. Let me know how I'm doing here. Let me know if you like the setup, this format. Usually I have a video. I might still have some videos playing up on the screen for you guys to watch. It's hard to get a lot of footage when you're beginning out in YouTube. A lot of times they'll copyright you. So I figured maybe I'd just do it like this, splice in what I can. But all comments, all likes, subscribers, well appreciated. Let's support the channel, and thanks for coming by.